Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys of Magic. This is Hunter, David, Shane, and Steven. Say what up, boys.
Yo, what's going on?
Hello.
What's up, nerds?
We are back today being August 17th, 2023, kicking off another day of spoiler season of Wilds of Eldraine. Before we get started, I just want to give you guys a reminder of how we do these videos. We just talk about the rares and the mythics that were announced today. If you wanted to see all of the other commons and uncommons that were also announced, follow us on our Instagram in the description down below. It's at Guys at Magic. We post all of them to there. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with the first one. This is Talion's Messenger. Talion's Messenger is 2 and a blue for a 1/3 creature fairy noble. It's got flying and says whenever you attack with one or more fairies, draw a card. Then discard a card. When you discard a card this way, put a +1/+1 counter on target fairy you control. Look, Fairy Tribal.
We love
Right,
Fairy
David?
Tribal.
I think this card is actually really solid.
I like it a
Yeah.
lot too.
I mean, it
I
can
think
grow itself, it can grow another thing. It's relatively cheap. 3 mana is starting to hit the middle portion of the game, so I don't know. I like this card.
And it procs on attack, not combat damage, which is lovely. I think that's way better. I think it
Yeah, I
slides
think it's
really
better, yeah.
nicely into that new Fairy Demir deck.
Legendary Fairy deck, dude.
Mm-hmm. Steven?
This card's great. Does everything I want to. It's cheap, and it basically filters. I mean, I like it. I guess you could say it's like a less aggressive Ledger Shredder, right?
I see the comparison there, but I think that Ledger Shredder is just better.
Well,
Yeah,
I said
that's
less
why I say
aggressive.
less aggressive.
You probably should say less powerful, but here we are.
Less good.
Less
Less
gooder.
Good.
Yep, less gooder.
Less good card, less good.
I think we're all on board with Talion's Messenger.
Still
This
good
is
though,
a-
yeah.
This is a very good card. Kicking off spoiler season or spoiler video with a good card. Next up, Lord Skitter, Sewer King. It is 2 and a black for a 3/3 legendary creature rat noble. It says whenever another rat enters the battlefield under your control, exile up to 1 target card from an opponent's graveyard. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block. We got the Rat King. What do you
Rat
think of
Travel,
this?
Steven.
I don't think this is the Rat King, but I think this is good.
He's the
Sewer
king of the sewer, dude.
Yeah.
He's a rat noble.
I like cards that proc themselves, and this does it.
Yeah, beginning of combat. Every combat, you just make a 1 on your turn, obviously, but you just make a 1/1. That's awesome.
I mean, I would really like. This card seems really fun if I was playing like a discard strategy. Just kind of like really get rid of all the cards in your hand, and then just kind of get like literally exile them from your graveyard too.
Why would you do a discard strategy?
This exiles from an opponent's graveyard too, though.
It only does.
So trying to discard your opponent's stuff and then get rid of it permanently through exile?
Is that what you were thinking?
Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant we were discarding. Got it.
Yeah, discard discard everything you guys have. Yeah. I want you guys to discard everything.
That'd be mean.
I think this card is
That's the whole point.
It's okay. I actually don't really think that the exile thing on this card is all that great. It's kind of slow.
I think it slides into an already existing rat deck.
I think if anything, I probably would just play this in either an aristocrats or a sacrifice deck just because it produces tokens.
It's something
true
to
as well.
sacrifice every turn, yeah.
Yeah,
Reliably.
Yeah, for free.
For free.
For free. Free card free. Lord Skitter. Pretty solid. Next up, Likeness Looter. It is a blue and a black for a 1/1 creature, Faerie Shapeshifter. It's got flying and has an ability where you can tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. And another ability where you can pay X. Likeness Looter becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X, except it has flying. And this ability, activate only as a sorcery. This seems very good.
I don't
This
know.
does seem pretty good.
You don't know?
Well, yeah, I mean, coming in, okay, so a 1/1 for 2, even with flying, I don't think it's all that great. This might, have a home if there isn't, that critical mass of good fairies, so this might make, the Demir Fairy deck. But my thought on here really just kind of being is that, it's probably not going to be pushing in for damage unless it's getting pumped. And its last ability is kind of weird. Like, typically, if you're playing around with things in your graveyard, you want to be able to reanimate them cheaply, and this doesn't do that. You still have to sink as much mana as what like you're trying to kind of pseudo get back.
I understand, but just filtering your hand is an excellent ability for 2.
Yeah. You know who this reminds me of, David? A name that we haven't heard in a long time because of that bottom text. The ever-changing Dane.
The ever-changing Dane.
Remember that guy, dude? I was in love with that guy.
I don't fully remember what he does.
Basically,
but
just became target to
pretty
something to get
sure
to sacrifice the creature.
Yeah, so like I mean, I actually do think that there's more utility with that one.
Well.
I like this card a lot, Steven. What do you think?
I think it's great. I mean, it does exactly what I want it to. I can filter through my deck a little bit. I can discard a card in my hand and hopefully make it the exact card I want Likeness Looter to be. Do I think it's super amazing? Not really. Do I think this will be pretty great in Standard? I actually do think so.
Yeah, I think it's
You
going
know
to be
what?
an all-star in Standard.
I love it when
swear-
Steven loves a card, dude.
I was gonna say, I swear that Steven said the exact same
He-
thing
I was
about
gonna
this
say,
card as what
he did.
he did for the first fairy. Like
He
literally
did,
word
he
for
did.
word.
And we're word for word. That was what I was about to say. I love it when you love a card, Steven, because I know what you're going to say.
You don't know me.
Let's move on to the next one. This is Werefox Bodyguard. It is 1 and 2 white for a 2/2 creature, Fox Elf Knight. It has flash, and it says when it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-Fox creature until Werefox Bodyguard leaves the battlefield. It has another ability. You can pay 1 and a white, sacrifice Werefox Bodyguard. You gain 2 life. It's one of those abilities we've seen.
Yeah.
You know, I actually really like this one though.
Why?
What's different about it?
So typically these kinds of effects, like the Fiend Hunter style, I don't know. I feel like the upside here is actually pretty significant. So having flash means that you could play around in instant speed. Yeah, but being able to sacrifice this creature also means that you could potentially like reuse any of the enter the battlefield effects. So I think that that's really neat. Plus, like if your opponent tries to kill this, you can always just sacrifice it so that you gain some life and you like forcibly get rid of one of their removal spells too. Because I mean, like oftentimes those kinds of cards, like your opponents just remove it and they get their thing back, and it's like you just wasted some mana. So I think this one's actually pretty neat.
Oh, are you saying that you use this defensively? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because then you hide it, and then you sacrifice this, get the thing back. Got it.
He's using it as a bodyguard.
Yeah, he's naming it. Yeah.
Can I just
like-
say that I wish this was werewolf? Like it's a werefox, I get it, but like, come on.
Eldraine doesn't have any werewolves, does he?
We're in the Omnipath now, dude. People could be anywhere.
I hate the Omnipath.
So this is like a shittier Brutal Cathar, but
I
still
would-
good.
It's like a different Brutal Cathar, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the best thing about Brutal Cathar is the day-night, so you could flip it and then exile, or flip it and then flip it back and then re-exile something else. So you could exile
that
2
card is
things
so
rather
good.
than just one.
That card was so good.
At least with this one, this is flash, so you can flash it in rather than just have to play it on your turn. That's kind of what balances out for me, kind of like evens it out for Brutal Cathar in my mind.
Brutal Cathar was only 1 white pip as well. What is this 2?
I mean, whatever.
Two
Harder to
white
cast.
pips is still easy enough to be able to get in.
Yeah.
The 2 life gain can be pretty relevant too when you're going up against like mono red aggro or something where you need to gain life.
True. I think we all like the werewolf. Werefox. What were we gonna say, Dave?
Like what Shane was saying there too. I mean, like you flash this in, so you now have a body to block up against like your opponent's aggro deck. And then in the case that they're trying to just like burn you down, this also provides that life gain, and it kind of like stutters your opponent. I think this card's dope.
Big fan. Big fan. Moving on to Ingenious Prodigy. It is X and a blue for a 0/1 creature human wizard. It has Skulk. I haven't seen that text in a while. Ingenious Prodigy enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if Ingenious Prodigy has 1 or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may remove a +1/+1 counter from it. If you do, draw a card. Also a very cool card.
This is a very cool design.
Yeah. You
It
can make it big
incentivizes-
later game, yeah.
Yeah, so it incentivizes you to like you want it to be small, but it's also at the same time like you want to pay a ton for it so you can draw cards.
Mm-hmm.
I like cards that can be
I think
relevant
this
for-
card's ingenious.
Shut
It's
up.
ingenious.
I also really love this for any kind of like proliferation style deck. So if you're playing this in EDH
yeah.
and your deck is focused around proliferation, this is just a straight up card draw engine that's probably just never going to go away.
Hell yeah. I was gonna say strictly from like a standard point of view though. I love when they make cards that are relevant at any time of the game. Like this would be good turn 2, and it would be good turn 8. I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Shane. This card's good on any turn you play it. Just gets better as turns go on. But yeah, Ingenious Prodigy is, like you said, Dave. I really like card design so far in this set. Card design has been pretty cool, pretty different. Moving on to Extraordinary Journey. It is X, X, and 2 blue for an enchantment that says when it enters the battlefield, exile up to X target creatures. For each of those cards, its owner may play it for as long as it remains exiled. And whenever one or more non-token creatures enter the battlefield, if one or more of them entered from exile, or it was cast from exile, you draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So with the amount of cards that people are cheating in from exile, we got those exile effects. You got Prosper, you got Faldorn, you got things that are just playing things from exile. Here's a card draw engine for you.
Yeah.
Granted,
Yeah.
you're going against
Cool.
those type of strategies.
I was
cool.
going to say, I don't think this is something that, because we're talking about from like an EDH perspective, I don't think that's really something that you need to specifically kind of counterplay. I mean, I get that, yeah, like Prosper is a popular deck, but I don't think it's popular enough to the point where it's like I'm looking at my deck design and thinking I should probably include cards in my deck to deal with that.
Yeah,
Speaking of card design though, this is another cool card design.
it's
The
different.
whole XX and the yeah.
I mean,
It's-
my thing
it's-
is, I don't enjoy this card for the fact that it is very specific to a certain extent, but the main reason why I'm not a big fan of it is, okay, cool, I get to exile those cards, but my opponents get to play them again. The ability only triggers once each turn, so even if they play multiple things that I exiled, I'm only getting one card. Now,
I'm
card draw is
imagining
always good, but
I'm thinking you're exiling your own stuff here.
I mean,
could.
you can use this
Can.
to just take advantage of the card draw aspect of it. I mean,
And ETBs you might
reuse
have?
any ETBs, yeah.
Yeah.
So like I can see it.
I don't know if I would want to use this in a strategy to blink my creatures when there are much better cards that do it.
I'm actually not very high on the card itself. I like the design of it. I think it's really cool and unique, but I don't think this is actually very playable.
Yeah, not too extraordinary, is it, Dave?
I'm glad that it exists.
Moving on to an adventure card called Bramble Familiar. The adventure part is called Find the Way. It's 5 and 2 green that says mill 7 cards, then put a creature, enchantment, or land card from among the cards milled this way onto the battlefield. But Bramble Familiar costs 1 and a green for a 2/2 creature elemental raccoon. It's got an ability we can tap it to add a green, and another ability we can pay 1 and a green, tap it, discard a card, return Bramble Familiar to its owner's hand. So you can do the adventure again.
Nope.
Nope, too expensive.
7 mana for the first half of this card means that I'm just never going to cast it, and I don't think I really want a 2 mana dork. Even with the upside here, I don't think this card is playable.
Well, it's a 2 mana dork until late game where you bring it back to your hand and then fucking send it on an adventure.
You guys know how I feel about super expensive cards. They need to end the game and be really impactful, and this is probably not going to do it because like you can't even specifically target something. You have to get lucky.
I'm gonna get my Oolong, dude.
I actually really like this card.
Of course you do.
I like the art.
It's like a raccoon.
It's elemental raccoon.
I like this. I think this card's fine too.
I don't think this sees play in standard, but I do think this will see play in EDH.
Green is in a weird spot in standard right now where nothing is good. Or
Shocker.
should I say nothing is good enough?
To
It's the
overtake what's
weakest
current. Yeah.
color. It is the absolute weakest color in standard right now. But
It just needs blue.
What? You like Simic now, dude?
No, I hate it.
Shocking. Simic is a good color combination.
I know. Anyways, Bramble
Familiar.
next.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Black Virtue. It's Virtue of Persistence. It is an adventure. The adventure part is called Lockwain Scorn. It is 1 and a black for a sorcery that says target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. You gain 2 life. And Virtue of Persistence, however, is 5 and 2 black for an enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. These virtues seem pretty good.
This one, yes.
I feel like you have to deal with that, or that's gonna get out of control.
Someone's
I
going to be able to
mean-
cheat this in.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
don't-
this will get out of control. It's just that it's in a color scheme that doesn't really do a lot of graveyard stuff, right?
Shut up.
I mean, okay, look at it like this. So I don't know. Whenever I look at this card, I see this is 2 mana for a removal spell with a little bit of life gain attached to it, which is pretty okay on its own. -3/-3 is probably going to be able to kill most of your opponent's early drops and utility creatures. And then I do know that this costs 7, but if you do eventually manage to stall yourself there, if you're playing a control style deck, that is probably going to win you the game.
That's what I'm saying. You have to deal with that. You don't deal with that, you're done.
So like this is the kind of super expensive 7 mana spell that I'm okay with. I'm not okay with milling away a raccoon and praying that I get something that's relevant. But like your opponent has to have an enchantment removal piece or they're probably just done.
See, I read something earlier that said, I'm glad Invoke Despair got banned because this card would have never been playable with Invoke Despair. So,
Yeah.
We'll see if this sees play. I'm almost guaranteed it's going to see play. There's all these different ways to cheat out things. And this is just another one of those things. So, coming soon, Atraxa on turn 4.
I don't think this is Citraxa on turn 4. I think this is like Grix's control.
I don't know, man. We'll see. But once again, these virtues, they're solid.
So far, they've been real good.
Yeah. Moving on to the Apprentice's Folly. It is 2, a blue and a red for an enchantment saga. Its first and second lore counter are the same. That says choose target non-token creature you control that doesn't have the same name as a token you control. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary, is a reflection in addition to its other types, and has haste. The third and final lore counter says sacrifice all reflections you control. So you get them and then get rid of them.
Meh.
What if you got rid of this, though? After you have all the reflections?
Then yes, the lore counter would trigger. And you can also
Sweet.
get rid of counters to make this continue just to do the 1 and 2.
Meh.
I mean, creating token copies that aren't legendary could be pretty relevant in EDH.
Meh.
I know. I'm just saying.
I agree with Shane there. Token copy that aren't legendaries are good.
I mean, I think this card is okay.
Is it
So
like
you're
okay
saying
or is
it's
it meh?
pretty meh?
I'm with Steven. This card is meh.
Yes.
I think it's
the
pretty good.
meh. Yeah, me and Shane are
You
on the
meh-
same
you
team.
meh boys,
you
dude.
guys, you meh boys are meh.
Meh.
I get to sacrifice them, but if you don't, that's crazy, dude.
That is crazy, dude. Except you do, so that's
That's a lot of build around.
I'm gonna build
Crazy.
around it. It's my EDH deck. All right.
I mean,
you're
it's a
gonna
lot of
build
build
around the
around
card
off
that's in
the
the 99.
enchantment. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like-
dude. All around this one card, dude.
That sounds awesome.
Thanks.
Moving on to Red Cap Gutter Dweller. 2 and 2 red for a 3/3 creature goblin warrior. It's got menace. It says when it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 black rat creature tokens, but this creature can't block. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Red Cap Gutter Dweller and exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Seems like another playable card in standard.
I don't
I
play
mean-
enough standard.
4 mana, you get 5 power worth of creatures. Kind of only 3 toughness because 2 of them they're not going to be able to block. But I mean, menace on this is pretty impactful. You can be able to push in for it. The only thing about this card is that coming in at 4 mana, I feel like is a little bit awkward. Like this is probably too expensive for the low to the ground aggro deck, and it really wants to, I feel like, be in that. Maybe if there's a grindy enough Rakdos sacrifice, because they've
There's
never
always-
done Rakdos sacrifice before.
There's always those, man. That's going to be a thing.
I've never heard of Rakdos sacrifice in any format.
Maybe you
You're
can
right.
invent it then, dude.
Let me know how it works. I think a mid-range Rakdos sacrifice is exactly what this is for.
I'm sure it'll see play.
I am not thrilled, but I am also not disappointed.
So you mad?
No, I think he's above me.
Oh,
I'm slightly above meh. I'm more like a meh.
So it's a question now you're posing.
Yeah, because like when I saw this, I got really excited. I was like, "Oh shit, a goblin! I could throw it in my crank." Oh, it makes rats awkward.
Awkward.
Still wouldn't be that bad in Cranko, but the rats kind of throw it off for me.
The rats kind of throw it off for you. All right. Well, I think Red Cap's pretty good. I think it'll see play in Standard. Can't wait to build around this. And the final 3 cards we are talking about today are just some of the new Enchanting Tales that were kind of talked about today. Parallel Lives, Omniscience, and Grasp of Fate, which has been downshifted to Uncommon. Pretty awesome art for all 3 of these cards. Once again, really cool that people are saying this is like Commander Masters, what they should have done. A lot of
Sad,
these
dude.
cards are really good in Commander. But
and these are standard price packs.
they are standard price packs. You're guaranteed to get one of these in a pack.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
The art is gorgeous. I like these.
Yeah, this will make my Goshintai deck just fucking beautiful.
Yeah, these arts incredible. And then they've got the anime arts as well that.
And you can get the confetti foil. Oh my god.
But yeah, that's going to do it for us today. We will start with Steven. Steven, what was your favorite card of the day?
My favorite card of the day, Hunter, is going to have to be Virtue of Persistence.
Very good card. The virtues have been killer. Shane, do you have a favorite card?
Yeah, I like the Ingenious Prodigy, dude. Card's really cool. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Skulk coming back. And David, do you have a favorite card?
Favorite card in general, or favorite card that I would play in like EDH?
Favorite
Yes.
card that was we talked about today.
Sure. We'll go with Talion's Messenger, or however you pronounce the dude's name. I think the card is fine. I actually am not super thrilled with any of these. None of them which are particularly bad, but I don't think any of which are like, oh my goodness, I need to have it.
What about you, honey?
Yeah, I think my favorite is going to be Lord Skitter Sewer King, just because he guarantees tokens every single turn for free. So it's always a nice effect. Good sacrifice fodder, like you were saying, David. I'm a fan. But that is going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also, comment down below, what was your favorite card talked about today? Let us know. We're always interested in what you guys say. And in the description, you will find links to our Instagram, our TikTok, and our Twitter. That's @GuysThatMatter for each. Follow us on those as well. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Bye.
Bye-bye.